Hi, this is Adam Kunzmiller with BGG TV at Gen Con 2015, and I'm joined by Seth Jaffe with Taste Your Minstrel Games, and we're here to talk about Steamworks.
Steamworks is a game we've had in the works for quite some time now, and I'm really happy to see the final production of it. It looks really nice, and I've been antsy to play it for quite some time. It's by Alex Churchill, who's a British fellow, and I've worked with him on developing it for quite some time now. And it's a worker placement game, and it's steampunk themed, and it's legitimately steampunk themed because the way it works is you literally build worker placement spots out of components for your workers to go to. So you have, in the game there are 8 characters, and each character is actually 2 different characters. There's an A side, which is more simple, a B side a little more complicated. So there are technically 16 characters in the game. So each character has some starting components. There are pictures on them so you know what they are. So these are some items that you can put into machines. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to be taking these items, these components and sources, and you're going to get more off these conveyor belts, and you're going to assemble them into devices by using worker placement. So you've got, you start with 2 workers. Over time you get more. On your turn, you send a worker to one of the worker spots on your board or in play. Of course, at the beginning there's nothing in play. So what you do is you, like I said, you get these tiles, and you end up constructing a machine such as this one that's legal, out of sources and components. So then when someone places a worker on this space, this is a worker placement space, the sources hold workers. So you place a worker here, you get to activate all the spaces next to it. So in this case, you would place your worker here. You could either pay no money to take the top card of
So take a blind one for free.
Or pay $1 to look at 2 and choose the one you like.
Okay.
So that'll give you a component. If you had another device, such as this one, and let's say this, you might have a couple of pieces attached to it. So you go here, you get to activate all of these items, all these components, one at a time. For example, here you could get, so this is electrical power, and therefore it powers the miscellanery. If you were to try to put a innovation turbine in there, the connections wouldn't line up, so it wouldn't work. It's not legal. So that helps you. And some of the items, some of the components, for example, the librarifier, will take any kind of input, but will have a different effect based on what type of power it gets.
Cool.
So in this case, I could use the miscellanery to get $2 and my choice of source, clockwork source, steam source, or electrical source. And the person who owns that device, if it's not me, will also get a source of that type. I can sell a source for $5, and because I'm putting electrical power into this component, I would use the electrical row. Electrical power will get me, what does it do? Any item off of the electrical third conveyor, which at the beginning of the game is empty, but later in the game, these will fill up with components, late game components that are better. So you'll need to decide what effects you want in play. You'll get those things and put them in play. If I send a worker to your device, you get a clock token, which is a victory point, and it's also kind of the timer for the game. When all these clock tokens, are we back on the screen? When all these clock tokens are out, we unlock the second age of the game here, and we get more, slightly better components to choose from. And we have a whole other conveyor belt. So these are worth points as well. So if you build a nice machine that people want to use, you'll get some points that way. But if it's too nice, you'll get 1 point and they'll get
tons.
Too much good stuff. You always have an opportunity to use your own machine. There's one of your personal spots. No one else can go to your personal board. You always have the chance to activate your own device. So if you build a nice device and someone uses it before you get a chance, you can always activate it at least once on your own. In fact, if it's open, you can go to it, or you can activate your own machine, leaving it open for another player, inviting another player to use it.
But you can't go to it and activate it here.
You can go to it, and then on a future turn, activate it.
You can.
So you could theoretically use it twice. Each time you place a worker, you have to pay. The first one's free, next one costs $1. Later in the game, we get more workers, and they cost more money. And so money's kind of tight. You have to do things to get money, or you have to do fewer actions per turn. If you can't afford to or are out of people, you pass. If you have any people left and you pass, you collect their money's worth, so you get a little money for next time. And then you wait for next round.
So the clocks determine when these start to come out. Do they also determine the end of the game?
Yes. When there's a pile of tokens here The board tells you how many tokens to put for each number of players. So when this opens up, you'll be taking from the last clock stack, and when that empties, then the game will be over.
Great.
So.
And how long does the game tend to last?
This is one a little bit longer. It's probably going to be
120. It looks.
Yeah, hour and a half, 2 hours. It's been on your player count. This is a up to 5 players game. Is that true? Yes, clearly true.
Yes.
It is a 2 to 5 player game, and the more players it take, the longer it'll take. And if you know what you're doing, it can be a little less. But we like to try to be honest on the box for people's first plays. It'll take
It's kind of an interesting worker placement in that being able to place on other people's things that they've built. Get a lot more interaction that way, I would imagine.
So that's not brand new. Like there have been Kalis, for example. Other replacement games like that. The interesting twist in this one is that you get to assemble the spaces that you want. Right. So every game's a bit different because people build different devices, and you get to make sure that your devices that you want for your strategy are in play. Some of these things will let you trade in sources for points or money for points or things like that. So you can kind of decide your strategy and based on what devices are in play, and you can try to build devices that will help that. So you have a lot of control over what actually is in play, and a lot of these abilities, especially on the B sides, are very unique and have interesting play. And they're all there's 8 of them, and the unique sides some of them get really crazy.
Cool. And when is this available?
It's on a boat right now. It'll be coming out in a couple of month or two, I think.
All right. Well, thanks, Seth. Once again, that was Steamworks.
Yep.